This is the real media, Steven, all right? The fight media, all right?
This is the tough media. That was all warm up. That was all warm up.
Steve,
It took me a little by surprise. There's been some speculation. Was it scripted? Was it with a wink? Certainly, if there was any arrangement made, I wasn't part of it. It caught me off guard.
When he went up to you, were you thinking, is this a work? Is he just being a character, or is it something like?
It started there, but and it felt to me in that moment it became more than that. That there was genuine animosity there, and whether it's because of my association with Floyd or the whole the microphone gate thing that now it's grown to epic proportions. We made it real clear that there were some technical glitches in LA. Some videos didn't play, the monitors didn't work. There's a range of things that weren't perfect. It was the first stop. We made it clear it wasn't intentional. Whether he still thinks it that way, whether he associates me with Floyd, or whether it was just sort of an opportunity to be outrageous, whatever it was,
you feel like he crossed the line at all?
Not with me. It was unexpected. I think it's a little misplaced. Was it childish and unprofessional? Probably so. But at the end of it, look, he hasn't been on a stage this big. He hasn't been on a platform of this magnitude, and he's sort of learning as he goes. So if that was part of him trying to entertain or be outrageous or sell, or whether it was just him, the emotion getting the best of him, or maybe it's part of his process that he needs to feel like it's me against the world. Whatever it is, look, I'll go home and sleep fine.
Have you cleared the air with him? And if not, do you want to try to clear the air with him today, tomorrow?
We have not. If the opportunity comes and it's organic, sure. I'm not going to seek him out. I doubt he lost any sleep out of it. Sort of personally, I generally try to take the high road on stuff like that. I can't always say that I have, particularly on Twitter. But it's a goal. It's an ideal. So I don't know if it's going to continue, if it's a one-time thing. And if it does continue, I don't know how long I can continue to bite my tongue.
Is there any part of you that's like, this is part of his brilliance, that he's almost made a sub-feud between him and Showtime, him and Floyd Sr., him and the backpack? Like he's made a narrative here. Can you appreciate that at all?
Oh, no, absolutely. I mean, and I think what you've seen, more importantly, is a respect level from Floyd that you typically don't see. Because Floyd is acutely aware of the marketing value, and he knows that he carries virtually every promotion that he's in. Particularly even the biggest one ever. He carried the Pacquiao side of things. The Pacquiao name and sort of the image took a lot of value, but in terms of actually carrying the promotion, he did it. So I think there is a great deal of respect for the audience that Conor brings, and the passion and enthusiasm, and the fact that you've got 2 + 2 adding up to much more than 4. So yes, there is a God-given, talent in doing what Conor does. I mean, it's like if you saw The Rock early in WWE. He certainly refined his skills as he progressed, but from the very first moment, you saw he had an ability to sort of hold a crowd in the palm of his hand, and it's something that Conor has as well.
Tensions are kind of building with the press conference, given what happened yesterday. What happens if Conor puts his hands on Floyd?
It would surprise me if he did. We've got, fundamentally at this, I think, there is a line with Conor. He has crossed it at points. Floyd has crossed it at point. But I think given the stage, given what's in front of them, I think they've been around enough to know that they're not going to mar this event with something, that is completely out of bounds.
When you put this event together and people criticized you, you look like a genius now. Did it ever cross your mind before, like, maybe they're right or maybe this could not work?
No, I you know what? I thought it would work. I didn't think it would get done. And there's, I learned pretty quickly as an exec, there's not a lot of room for doubt. You've got to make a decision and go with it. Some of them have been wrong. I've made some terrible decisions along the way. But it's not going to I'm not going to spend a lot of time, grieving over those.
Conor's fans are a very loyal bunch. When he referred to TJ Dillashaw as a snake, he continues to hear that. And I'm just wondering, how has your Twitter been today? Because when we tweeted the video, I saw some of the mentions, and there's some pictures there. Has it been aggressive? What has it been? Have you even looked?
No, I have looked.
Are you being attacked by his fans?
There's a correlation between, the territory of Ireland and some negativity. I'll just say, and I got, but at the same token, I was joking when I was walking into the arena. I got stopped by, several guys in Irish, T-shirts and clear colors, and we joked back and forth. And I think, look, you've got on Twitter and social media, you've got a vocal minority who are, way out of bounds. And I think most are reasonable people. And I'm going to hear it. I heard it walking in now.
Oh, really?
There's
You've become a character in all of this.
It is. It's like I'm the Vince McMahon in the whole feud. So, I think this could be a whole new career move for me.
When you speak tonight, it's probably going to be very interesting. Are you ready for that?
It will be.
I'm not trying to put pressure on you, by the way.
The interesting part in Los Angeles, that's another point that took me back. There's been an event that surprised me at each one, and that's from the very first word how enthusiastically I was booed, even before I finished a complete sentence. So I learned from that one there really is no point trying to impart information. And at some point when I went to Toronto, I sort of encouraged it and went in further, and sort of I knew the reaction would be if I just read off some of Floyd's resume. And so, maybe that's what led to Conor, doing it, which is the appropriate response. That's how feuds get started, right?
Because of this fight, a lot of MMA fighters and boxers are calling each other out. We've seen Roy Jones Jr. and other fighters. Does this open up the door for other fights similar to this one?
I'm skeptical. A key part of this is the personalities and the sell. I'm not sure I know there wouldn't be the same level of interest without the two personalities involved. We thought about populating a good portion of the undercard with MMA versus boxing. The reality, you'd probably end up with a lot of short fights. I think, that's not meant as a slight. If we did it in reverse, in an octagon or in an MMA, in a cage, then, sure, there'd be a lot of short fights there as well. So I think this is almost the perfect storm of a number of different features. It'll be few and far between, but maybe it could happen again.
How does this compare, and I'm just curious, from what you've seen right now with the Joshua fight, because we saw 90,000 people there. So that's kind of sparked my interest to kind of compare it, because Joshua's on the same level, at least over there, as both these guys.
There is a level of interest worldwide in this event that really supersedes anything I've ever seen. Mayweather, Pacquiao, Joshua, Klitschko, getting, guys that I work with, colleagues that are overseas, in Amsterdam, they hear, the table next to them is debating the fight, and, we've all have stories like this. This is one of those truly global events. It's become, not to sound like a blowhard, but it's becoming a cultural event. It's not just a sporting event. It's one of those things that's experienced cultural.
Who's winning the press conferences right now? What's the score? Is it 1-1, 2-0? Who's winning?
It's interesting. I've seen scores all over the map.
Is it funny that we're even debating this?
No. You know what? I scored LA as a draw. I had Conor by 10-9 in Toronto, but he got a point deducted for going after the executive. So we're even. Yeah, we're absolutely even. It's 19-19 going into the third press conference.
What can we expect for the All Access? All Access, is it 2 episodes, 4 episodes?
Yeah, 4 episodes starting July 28th. And, there's a lot of material there that people haven't seen. And really, you could probably do, 2-hour episodes every week based on everything. I wish we had more time to process everything we're getting. they're just two fascinating characters.
Is there going to be any of the crossover stuff, maybe on CBS, or is it just strictly going to be the All Access and then right into the fight?
There will be a lot. We're going to combine with UFC. UFC is going to come in with embedded. They're doing a lot of what they typically do. We'll do what we do and involve CBS Sports Network and CBSSports.com. I think this is going to be fairly inescapable by the time we get to the last week of August.
Can you announce anything from the undercard, Steven? Co-main or
Undercard is just Tank Davis is the co-main. He doesn't have an opponent yet, but
Salido dropped down.
it doesn't look like it's going to be Salido. But knowing Tank, it's going to be a good solid fight, and I love that position for him. I think he's one of the most entertaining, most fun fighters to watch, and I think it's a perfect platform for him.
And to kick off the pay-per-view, who are you guys leaning towards?
I know Floyd. I haven't gotten confirmation. Floyd had mentioned Badu Jack, moving up to 175, and I think there's some talk about Benavidez, going on the card as well. But I know
David
David. But he's going into the Durrell fight, so I'm not sure where they're doing.
How many fights on the pay-per-view?
It'll be 4 total, including the main event.
In terms of the prelims, will you do a show extreme, or how is that being?
We're going to be leaning on Fox. This is one of the examples where we're leaning on them. Fox is active and supportive both MMA and boxing, and so where we've typically done a pre-show, it'll probably be on one of the Fox platforms and involve their talent. And as supportive as they've been in both sports, I think it's a good way to keep them involved, engaged, and get their support for a big event.
You know Floyd Mayweather on a personal level a lot better than most people. He's a very nice guy, very polite. We haven't seen this side of him in many, many years. Did it surprise you how on point he is?
It did surprise me. We haven't seen this Floyd since the De La Hoya promotion, when he was at his peak in terms of trash talking and needling Oscar. I wasn't sure whether he still had it in him, because for the first half of the LA, he was stone-faced. And I think that might have been his plan to a point, but you can only take so much. And he dug deep and he brought the old Floyd out.